Good morning, people. Another podcast, Baseboard Inc. Check out my video, our video. Say good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I hope everybody's ready for some more recovery.
So today we're talking about step 5. Step 5, that we're admitting to God and to another human being about our wrongs. Don't quote me on that. Let's give a moment of silence to those who are still smoking. And another moment of silence to those who didn't wake up this morning and God took them home. Alright. My name is Corey and I'm an addict. And we're talking about step 5. Step 5 we admit to God, to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. So I'm about to admit my wrongs to God. Well, I did this already, but I'm going to do it again. Because by us admitting our wrongs to God, He helps us, He frees us, we're free. All our childhood trauma, all the things that we went through, the reason why our life is messed up, we're free now. How do you feel about step 5?
I feel moved by it usually. It's one of those steps that is part of the work when it comes to working with others. You start off with a list and it turns into something where you're figuring out main parts of your life that you need to work on. And so what I've gotten out of it is spiritual growth more than anything.
Okay. So, this is what I had to admit to God. I wrote it down. And this is what I admitted to God when I was in my cell. I admitted to God that I was a piece of shit, and why would He help a person like me if I wasn't trying to help myself? After doing my inventory, I found that I've been fucked up my whole life. It could be different, but it's not. I had to deal with the decisions I made in my life. I had to admit to God that I was not worthy of life and wanted to take my life, and that I would be better off in hell. I had to admit that I was a bad son, a bad brother, a bad uncle, a bad husband, a bad friend and father. I had to admit my sins to my Lord and ask Him to help me. I had to admit that I hate motherfuckers that did me wrong. I had to admit that I had the 7 deadly sins in my heart. I had to admit that I put in work for the wrong things and hurt the wrong people that didn't deserve it. I had to admit to God that I put my mom, my grandma, my family through all kinds of shit for no reason. The crazy thing about all this, He knew it. Because he could see. But I had to admit all my wrongs. And by me admitting my wrongs and my faults, and I just admitted to this man right here, I had to admit all these things so I could change. Whatever I was going through, God was right there the whole time. I couldn't see it because I was high. I didn't want to believe. I didn't want to listen. That's my problem. I didn't listen. And that's your problem too. You don't want to listen. You think because you're doing drugs, you're good. You ain't good. Your friends ain't going to tell you ain't good. They're going to do fucked up shit. They're going to play games with your life. And you're going to be end up by yourself. In these streets, talking to yourself, intense. It's hot as fuck out here. But now, I'm a free man, a freeman. You ain't never seen a nigga on a horse before? But I'm free. What have you admitted to God?
I had to admit that I couldn't control my drinking. I had to admit that everything that I destroyed, I'll never get back unless I stay clean. If I go back to the bottle, if I go back down that road, I might not make it out. I've done so much damage that I have to rebuild my foundation to even, get started. And I'm working on it. I'm going to my classes and set up for getting my medication and staying on it. I got to get a counselor meeting and start seeing a psychiatrist and be able to talk about my problems with somebody so that I can move on and be free. Be free from all the pain and suffering.
Torment.
Yep.
So, we outside, we're talking about the fifth step. We admitted to God, to another human being. That's what you have to do. You may not think this shit works, but it works. If you're a recovering addict and you're in the step work, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not an addict, just listen. You'll understand what we're talking about. The fifth step, I'm going to read a passage from the book that I wrote down. The fifth step is the key to freedom. It allows us to live clean in the present. We are told that if we keep these defects inside us, they will lead us back to using. I don't want to go back to using. That's the monster inside me that's telling me, fuck this podcast. Fuck the people in your life. Go back out there in the streets. Go get high. Go run amok. Don't be seen for years at a time. Go back to prison. That's the monster inside me. That's the disease that's telling me this shit. But I have God in my life, and God's not going to allow me to do that. It's my decision, but that's not what He wants from me. And I'm going to make the decision every day I wake up to stay clean. Not to go back into them streets, not to run around, not to be dirty and bummy and hearing voices and thinking people are after me. None of that shit. I'm done. I'm done with it. But I had to admit to God, though, I had to get on my knees and cry. Cry. Ask the Lord to forgive me for my sins. That's what I did. I don't know about you. And He helped me. A person like me, that the human beings don't give two shit about because I'm smoking dope, I'm running around, I'm robbing people, I'm getting money, I'm looking bummy, thinking I'm doing something because I got a little bit of money, but that money's going to the dope man. It ain't for me. It's for my next high. But now I got freedom. I'm free. What do you think?
That freedom is what we all deserve. We all deserve a second chance. It's hard to get there though. These steps aren't anything to scoff at. They're all hard to deal with because you have to deal with the truth. My first sponsor had me do my inventory 4 or 5 times before he let me go, and he said, "Hey, when you're done with the steps, you got to start over again." So I know that practicing the principles of AA and NA you learn how to do certain things that you didn't do before. You learn how to journal. You learn how to, find something that works for you to be able to stay clean. And you writing down and you studying up for these podcasts, that's what you've been working hard for. You deserve to have this because you earned it.
And that's the thing about life. If it's free, then your eyes is not free. There's something behind that shit. And that's what I learned. Free ain't free. Admitting to God is free. Because all He wants you to do is change your life and follow Him the best you can. If you're a religious person, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, just listen. And God is the way, the truth, and the life. And that's what I believe because I woke up this morning. Somebody in your family didn't wake up. Somebody in your family got killed. Somebody in your family overdosed. Today, just a couple hours ago, police all at your house, the coroner, the ambulance, the paramedics. They're at your house right now as I'm doing this podcast. Because of whatever reason God took them home or whatever they were doing out there in the streets. Got shot, bad drug deal, kidnapped. All this stuff happened because of whatever reason or decision we made to follow in our life. This is just raw, true shit. This is what really happens. This is what no one wants to talk about. Step 5. Sit down and admit to God your wrongs. Talk to someone that you trust. Get a better understanding of your life and what's going on within your soul. You got to dig deep. I admitted to you what I admitted in the jail cell, in a prison cell, for God to change my life so I can be free. When you're on drugs, you're not free. You're shackled to the devil. Ain't no one gonna tell you that. It gets deeper than just, what is it? What's the commercial? Oh, this is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. It gets deeper than that. You're gonna be in spots you ain't got no business being in. You're gonna be in places you wish you never were, but you there because you want to get high. Take it from me. Take it from him. Find another addict. Talk to him. Ask him about his journey. Find a recovery addict. Ask him about his journey. Ask him how many places he been where he had no business being. You want to go down that road? You might not make it back. You can't walk in my shoes. You can't walk in his shoes. You can't walk in the addict's shoes, the recovering addict's shoes. You got to walk in your own shoes. You got to see it for what it's worth. And what the devil blinds you. But God will never blind you. He'll never lead you wrong. He'll never leave you strayed. He ain't never going to leave you by yourself. You leave you by yourself. When you don't ask for his help. When you don't put him first. This ain't about religion. This is what I got out the book. You'll be by yourself. He'll let you do whatever you got to do. But don't come crawling back to him when you can walk to him and ask him for your help. Ask him to turn your life around. Ask him to be in your life. He's on call like a doctor. 366 days a year. We're just talking about the leap year, right? Absolutely. I'm going to read another passage from the book. Holding on to our past would eventually sicken us and keep us from taking part in our new way of life. If we're not honest when we take the 5th step, we will have the same negative results that dishonesty brought us in the past. Do you want that? Do you want to work so hard, then one day you decided to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go get me a sack? You done been clean for years already. Do you want to go back, start all over, a new clean time birthday? I don't want to do that. How about you?
No, enough is enough for me. I've had birthdays. I've had over a year of recovery. I've done inpatient, outpatient. I've done psych wards. I've done every single which way, and there's no other way. You know, God and AA is the only thing that works for me. God, the only one who's never let me down. Anytime I was in need,